Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek. Hey there, designers. Welcome back for episode 34 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek. And today I have a very special guest, somebody that I have known in the industry for many years. And I'm so happy that she has agreed to come on and chat with me today because she is like everywhere. I never know where in the world Ericka is. But today I am joined by Ericka Saurit, and she is a marketing genius. Okay, so she has marketing school for creatives as well as Saurit Creatives. And with a design background and marketing background, I mean, she's so cool. Like you'll hear in a second, but she's so cool. She's very down to earth. She understands the messaging that goes behind the marketing. And that is so important to be able to tell a story and really like resonate and connect with the ideal client and also define an ideal client. And who you're speaking to through your messaging. So I have been a longtime email subscriber of Ericka's, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I just am so grateful for today's conversation. And I hope you get a lot out of it, especially as we're moving into the new year. And we're really focusing on how are we going to reach new clients and what is our messaging going to be and how are we going to use AI to help us with that. So thank you, Ericka, for joining us today. Cannot wait for this conversation. Here we go. Right. Hey, Ericka, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Jenna, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. So we bumped into each other at High Point briefly at the Phillips collection, and we were like, oh, we need to talk. We've got so many things. So that was nice. Did you have a nice market?
Market was amazing this year. I saw so many beautiful, colorful new things, which was really exciting. How was it for you?
Yeah, same. It was a quick trip, like 2.5 days, some AI panels, just seeing everybody, which was great. Always is.
No, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. So we have done a few collaborations in the past. You are in the space of course, marketing and interior design and creatives in general. So we both are, teachers in our own right. We both love education. So I'm curious to know like your story and your background and how you got to where you are right now doing what you do.
I'm going to give you a super, super fast speed tour. I grew up in High Point, which I was surrounded by design and, the furniture industry. So I promptly went to art school, studied sculpture, wanted to be like a studio artist, did that for a couple of years. Ended up working for a landscape architecture firm. I was living in New Orleans after I left High Point, or after I left school. And then I decided I wanted to be a designer. I loved the idea of creating space. And so I went to graduate school for interior design, and I got a master's degree in interior architecture. While I was finishing my last year as a graduate student, I was teaching. And I really I found that like teaching, I taught first year kind of foundation design. And I thought that was a really exciting and interesting way to open young people's minds. Like if you remember your first year of school, like when you started thinking like a designer, it really it just set in motion so many kind of future plans. And so I did that for, the last year of my graduate school. And then I moved and started working for a few years, and I was living in Cincinnati. And so I taught also at the University of Cincinnati. I taught in their design school, and I taught first year graduate students who are coming into architecture and interior design from another background, anything, finance, like anything you could imagine that wasn't design related. And so I had that same experience, and I really, learned that I had something else that I really loved to do besides designing. So anyway, I went on to be a designer for many more years, 10 more years. And then I crossed over into the world of marketing. I realized that maybe a better world for me was helping designers to tell better stories so that they could get a bigger seat at the table. Because what I was seeing in the firm where I was working was that the marketing team were the ones who were kind of interpreting the design work and selling it to the client, and then coming back to the designers and being like, here, now do this. And so I thought I could be a nice bridge between the designers and the clients. And so that put me into more marketing roles. And then I went back to school for marketing to get a better foundation. And over those 10 years of being, more than 10 years now of being in marketing, I've worked only specifically with either home furnishings manufacturers in our industry, interior designers, or design firms that focus on, buildings, either interior, commercial, residential. And I started my own business about 4.5 years ago. It was just during COVID in 2020, and then started marketing school for creatives just because I thought I'll do this little course. You must know how this is. I'll just do this little course because it seems like something like a lot of people keep asking me for is like, how could we, if they couldn't, invest in working with, an agency to do their marketing and branding, how could they learn, marketing on their own? And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just make this little course and I'll share everything I know. And that blew up. It took me.
That's how it all starts.
I ended up working with a instructional design agency to kind of help me just to outsource a little bit of the process of kind of creating the instructional design part of it, how different people learn, how do I turn it into like a curriculum that's going to actually be successful and not like a big mess. And this was just before AI, just before ChatGPT. So like 2022, 2020, early 2023. And at that time, as we kind of developed it, like I said, it took about a year. It then just sort of blew up. And now I'm, really love offering, I have a core curriculum of kind of marketing and branding kind of learnings, but then I bring in guest instructors like you who are experts in their own kind of space. So, I mean, these are not things, I'm not an expert in AI. I do use it, but I want people to come and teach who love teaching, who love, our industry and other creatives, and bring them in. So that was sort of super short story.
That's awesome. Okay, so I thought I was on your email list since 2019, but I guess it was probably 2020 that I joined because I don't even know how I got on there, but I was like, this is great content, and it's one of the ones that I never unsubscribed to. So
thank you so much. I really just started doing it because I did a lot of email marketing in my marketing career, and I thought like, this is such a fun way to just have a conversation, even though it's sort of one-sided, although I always ask people to sort of respond. But I really love that newsletter. I put a lot of thought into how do I delight people with their inbox, in their inbox, and speak about, things people might find funny or, thought-provoking. So thank you for saying that. And you probably got on it, and this is for anybody listening too, who's like, how did I get on her list? If you were at a panel that I was either speaking on or, hosting or an event, then, we, as you know, we have access to those email lists. So, but you're welcome to unsubscribe. Not you. Please stay.
No, I'm gonna stay.
Good.
I love the conversational tone of it. It's like,
thank you.
It's how I write too. So it connects with me. And it's conversational. It's funny. It's there's anecdotes in there. Like I really like the style. So
thank you.
I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, you write that, not ChatGPT. That is from you and your brain, or are you pulling in ChatGPT there?
Okay, so full disclosure, up until ChatGPT. Okay, so let me take you back. I love writing. I'm not a writer, obviously, but I like to communicate, and that's a medium for me that I really enjoy. So refining, getting the ideas, they kind of come to you as they do. You can grasp them out of air sometimes. Sometimes you struggle with them. Sometimes you know what you want to say, but you can't. You got to dance around it. That was always my story for years and years and years. And the more you do something, the better you get at it. So the better I would get at writing, not being a writer, but writing and emails like that. And then I think it was, you correct me if I'm wrong. I felt like it was late summer or anyway, whenever ChatGPT first came out. Maybe it was fall 23. 20, does that sound right?
I think when
that.
That's when it was bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
More people were using it at that point. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you were like a first adopter. I was not. I sort of
Earlier.
listened around to it and I was like, I don't know if that sounds like, I'll get around to it. So eventually I got around to it. And I think the first time I used ChatGPT, it blew my mind. I was like, I'm done. All creative people have lost their jobs in like 2 years. And I had this whole downward thought about it. But then I was like, wait, maybe it can help me organize myself a little bit better and at least help me make like maybe a better outline for these emails or a better outline for something I'm working on in my business. And once I started to use it and understand, and I took some kind of courses to really get how to prompt it and how to really make the most use of it, I began to see how it actually was not my foe. It was not going to take my job. It was certainly not going to take my job over my dead body. But but now I feel like I use ChatGPT like every day. And no day goes by now without me using it somehow. I have created my entire I like to call it my executive team. As you know, like you've worked in, firms and you've worked around other people before you started your business. And the thing I missed most for a couple of years after I left like the professional world and started my own business was like, I didn't have this like world of people who were smarter than me around me at all times. And I couldn't like go into a meeting and listen to somebody and just be blown away by how strategic or smart or cool they were. And I didn't have that. I mean, I have that with my clients and I do have partners that I work with to execute projects. But on the day to day, I was really missing this stimulation of having somebody around who could really brainstorm with me or, have someone to bounce an idea off of just casually, like at the water cooler or whatever. And now I do because I've created a whole kind of, like I said, my executive team of GPTs that actually help me with strategy, help me with, creative direction. They help me with visualization. They help me get started and they help me refine. And now I feel like once I figured out how to do that and how I wanted to structure, their work and how they all work together, because as you know, they do, and which is amazing. Now I feel like, oh my God, if I could go back in time and tell myself like a year and a half, 2 years from, having that panic button, having that breakdown, I would be really, really blown away. So I am using ChatGPT and GPTs in nearly every part of my business, including helping me not write the emails. I haven't, although I've gotten really close. One of my, I don't have a newsletter GPT, but one of my narrative GPTs is able to help me get really close with my voice, but still it's not, I mean, I still have to give them the ideas. So
Right. Yep. And then go back and edit and
But that's
if they
fun.
do anything.
You're like, whoa.
It's
really
Where'd
incredible.
That analogy come from? I like that. That was kind of cool.
Like
Okay. So a lot to unpack because I love everything that you just said. It just like really validates everything I've said on this podcast. So
good.
And we didn't talk about this before, guys. Like this is very conversational. But the reinforcement of building your executive team, and I love that you called it that. So these custom GPTs are little assistants and they can help you with different parts. So you said, I don't have a newsletter one, but you have something else that helps you with like writing something. Is that what that one does? Okay. And then I have some that, they're all trained on brand voice, but they can never nail brand voice like a human. So that's why you just said, like it's a give and take. Like sometimes you're getting ideas and sometimes you're putting in things and it's amplifying what you've already written or, however you want to use it, it's a tool. And the fact that you also mentioned when you left a job and you didn't have other people to collaborate with and, look up to and bounce ideas off of, I feel that so much because same, like when I left, I was like, now I got to do all of the things and there was no ChatGPT, so it's lonely.
It is lonely.
Now, and now we got all of our bots. It's still a little lonely, but we got all of our GPTs. But the cool thing is like assistants can use them, you know, so if we
Mhm.
train them and we do have an assistant and we're like, here, go like rewrite this for SEO purposes or something, we
Yes.
can also have them do it. So
Yep.
it's not replacing a team, it's helping to build out a better team in the end and also
Exactly.
help you. That's great.
I was always like, I knew this, and this was why I was never great. I mean, I feel like I'm good with people, but I'm also
Hmm.
super nice. I'm Southern. I
Hmm.
like to
Hmm.
be nice. I like to be liked, and it
Yeah.
doesn't make for a good manager or
Hmm.
good. I mean,
Hmm.
I just I know one of my weaknesses in professionally is that I'm not great with managing people, but I am really
Hmm.
good at managing GPTs because
Hmm.
I don't know. There's no emotion there. There doesn't,
Yeah.
you have to be polite, and I am
Yeah.
polite, of course,
I am
but
too. Yeah.
but it really helps. And then, yeah,
Hmm.
you can hand off all of the narratives, anything you have about
Hmm.
your business, any kind of background style guides,
Yeah.
you can hand that off to your VA or hand that off to have like a tech VA. So now I'm going to
Hmm.
help her understand my business because
Hmm.
the emotion of me having to kind of train and all of that's gone because the GPT
Yeah.
can do that for you.
Yeah, yeah, just like training an assistant, and then that
Yep.
assistant can kind of train your new assistant. So it's
That's right.
easier, right? Easier
Yes.
onboarding.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you seeing for the creatives that you teach in different use cases that they might be using and applying ChatGPT for?
I love, so one of the things that I work with students in marketing school and also with my clients, we start with, building a brand takes really kind of deep introspective thought. It requires you to understand, your purpose and your mission and your vision, but to be able to take that information and then synthesize it, right, and put it into a statement that your client will resonate with. So there's a lot of kind of moving parts there, and so what I do with my clients, I will create or I have created a template that shows them, here fill this out ABCD whatever, like
Hmm.
goes through the whole who are you, who are your clients, just sort of
Yeah.
capturing and gathering all that information, and the same in marketing school, and then that is what you can train your GPT or
Hmm.
put into ChatGPT so that it has a background and then can help you kind of synthesize that information into something like a narrative that's more clear. And so
Hmm.
I'm starting to see students really who are very shy and very kind of weary about technology and
Hmm.
unfortunately ChatGPT is like the ultimate intimidation when it
Sure. Yeah.
comes to you must know this, like I
Hmm.
think like once they see how easy that can be, I think it
Yeah.
opens up an entire world. It's sort of another one of those aha moments in like in education when you show somebody one thing, they
Hmm.
can start to believe so much more about themselves. They can start to
Hmm.
believe that they're capable of doing a lot more things. And I think that's just this sort of small amount of empowerment that
Hmm.
you can get if you just sort of step away and say, okay, I'm not going to be afraid of this. I'm only going to
Hmm.
see the value and the benefit in just trying it and see what
Yep.
happens. So I think it's more like just showing them just to take the first baby step. Just trust
Yeah.
me. Like, and I know
Yep.
you do this too. Like,
Yep.
just trust me.
Hmm.
Try this
Hmm.
one thing and see what happens,
Yep.
and you're going to be blown away. So
Yeah.
I think it's more of that empowerment than it is very
Hmm.
specific things.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great perspective. And I love how you just articulated that because I've never been able to say it so eloquently, but you have such a great way with words.
I disagree,
I
actually, Jenna. You are such a, I mean, I have seen you, I saw you at the Verd Summit too. You did
yeah.
a, presentation, and people were, I love this word, wrapped. They were
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
blown away, just like, okay, take these prompts and you
Yeah.
can get these incredible visuals for your project in seconds.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
people just cannot believe it's like it feels too good to be true, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
really, and
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it just opens up so
Yeah.
many more possibilities. So
It
you are the
does.
same.
And
Yeah.
thanks. I'll tell you in a second kind of what VRD is
Oh,
and
yeah,
what
sorry.
that presentation was about, because
Yeah.
I think people should definitely know. But what you're basically saying here, if I'm going to boil all of this down, is that it's not replacing, it is literally helping us to enhance. And it's almost the next step of evolution in
Yeah.
our in our career. Like we went through COVID, we went through moving
Hmm.
pretty much everybody to some form of virtual business model
Yep.
in some capacity, whether you stayed there or not after the pandemic. So moving forward, like we have to think smarter with the economy. We can't always pay all the people that we want to for
That's
all
right.
these different positions. And
Yeah.
this helps us to fill in those holes of like where our creativity is lacking, but also be able to hit all those areas in our business that we previously couldn't before. So that's
That was
how I see
really
it.
well said. Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
Cool. No coffee
Excellent.
yet either, too. So that's great.
Amazing. Yeah.
All right.
Perfectly said.
Cool. Okay. So let's talk about VRD because
Sure.
Vacation Rental Design Summit. Is
Yeah.
there a summit in there at the end?
Yep. You got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what it is and how you're involved,
Yeah.
and because you are, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
I
thought
am
so.
one of those marketing jobs that I was in. I worked at Airbnb, and I
Mhm.
worked because of my background in interior design and my background in marketing. I sat in between the marketing team and the environments team, and my job was to consult with the engineers and product developers who were creating this sort of middle tier of homes on Airbnb that were sort of higher, like higher design
Okay.
focused. And so my job
Okay.
was to figure out how to create content and education and onboarding for hosts and interior designers who were going to be, up leveling the design in these for this product here, right?
Hmm.
And so I, at the same time, I have been traveling a lot in my career and throughout my life, and I had been a host on Airbnb. And I lived in New York, and when
Hmm.
Airbnb first started, I used it and I
Hmm.
loved it, and then it got completely outlawed in New York, so that
Yeah.
didn't happen anymore. I used it when I lived in China,
Hmm.
and then I
Okay.
used it. I was a host when I was in Argentina. So I had done
Hmm.
hosting. I had never kind of done it to the scale of what I was doing in my role in Airbnb, but I was
Hmm.
really passionate about design as a sales tool, like how design helps to create a better experience and a better business for the host and for the guests. And so
Hmm.
um, it was, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Jane Dagme, who is the director of HPXD, which is High Point by Design, which is like a showroom. They merged with the High Point Showroom Association to create a community of brands and showrooms that are open year round outside of High Point Market. And she had been approached by Jessica Gaidusek, who
Hmm.
is an interior designer who also specializes in vacation rentals. And the three of us put our heads together, and it was mostly Jane and Jessica because they're genius. They're brilliant. They were
They're
like, how do
amazing.
we?
The three of
They
you
really
together is
are.
just power. I love
They're so great.
it.
But they were like, let's figure out how to make a summit and bring designers here and put them with brands and figure out, how do we get this topic? Because a lot of people are doing this, but no one's really talking about it from the design side. And so, yeah, we did. Our first one was in 2023. Our second one, where you spoke, I keep wanting to say it was last year, but it was earlier this year,
Yeah.
2024.
Yep.
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 And I think that of course, we're planning number 3
Hmm.
for next year. And
It's
I
awesome.
am just blown away. And I think like things that can happen, this just
Hmm.
within a year, not just with, the potential of visualization, but with the potential for design and the
Yeah.
potential for like a business strategy
Hmm.
is amazing. And the
Yeah.
presentation that you give, I'll let you talk about it, was one of the I mean, we had surveys of what people really loved, and yours was one of the top
Hmm.
ones. People
Oh,
really,
great.
really resonated with your
Hmm.
topic, and it's also amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fun and it's pretty. So, of course, designers like that. So I have been now both years, and you guys put on a incredible event. So I just
Thanks.
thank you for doing this. And the three of you are just the best people. I really, truly
We have
enjoy
fun.
working with you. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
it looks like you have fun. It's not stuffy. It's like, let's go do this. Let's just enjoy
Yeah.
ourselves and let's teach people and meet people. And I just love the whole vibe around the conference.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing what you do. and bringing in such great speakers too, because I know my presentation was probably great, but I learned a lot too. And I'm not a VRD designer, but I learned from a lot of the speakers really cool tips and tricks that I can take into what I do too. So
Nice.
overall, great event. Yep.
Thank you.
So what I spoke about at this conference, and this was what, April of
Yeah.
2024? Was it April? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's right before spring market at High Point, and it's at Cogden Yards. And 2 days. Was it a 2-day event?
2.5 days.
2.5 days. Okay. So my talk was about AI, and considering that we're shooting this now in November, a lot's changed, but also a lot's still the same for the presentation that I gave. And every single time, just so you guys know, when I give a presentation, it's always different. I've never given the same presentation twice, but this one was focused on Airbnb designers and being able to use ChatGPT and DALL-E and generative AI programs like Midjourney, and now Visual Electric is one of my top favorites, which is,
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh.
I've never even heard of it.
You're going to love it for branding. Okay. So when I roll out,
God, I can't wait. Okay.
Yeah. When I roll out all my new like Black Friday stuff, you'll see like the consistency with branding. You can see it on AI for interior designers now. When you're creating generative AI images, you can set styles and then you can apply that same style to everything. So all my branding is like the same colors, the same style, all of that, but it doesn't matter what I'm trying to create. It's always going to be consistent. So you'll love this.
Okay.
You'll
Yes, I am already
nerd out.
very excited.
Okay, cool. So anyway, tangent there, but if that one had existed, I would probably also show you some product design that you can do inside of that one. It's really great for that type of stuff too.
Oh, because you have been doing fabrics and wallpaper, or just
that's what I was doing.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I was presenting about during this time. And my whole house is, except for this room that I just redid. But what I do is I create basically a client profile if I'm doing something specific in ChatGPT. Then I get to the ideation phase, select the color palette, do some mood boards, extract a few colors from there, and then basically say, okay, create some artwork using this color palette, using this style, and it'll create it in DALL-E. I grab that prompt from DALL-E, move it over to another generative program, create some repeatable patterns or just art, put it into Photoshop and really manipulate it to create new patterns. And this is what I presented on, guys. And then create new patterns. And then I use print on demand just because it's, easy, like no middleman. I can set it up with that one part of my business, which is called 11th and Home. And that's where that all is housed on that website. But I can create custom art and then extract the colors to create new patterns that can then go on pillows and drapery and whatever that is. Yeah. And designers in VRD or wherever else can do this. Like everybody can do this. And it's highly customized. You're not looking for the same color, hex code, whatever pillow. You've made it. You control it. It doesn't necessarily have to be even print on demand. Take it to High Point and get it printed. But this is just one way that we can control what we're producing and also potentially create like your own collection of products down the road or apply it to furniture, whatever you want to do. This is the start, and AI can help with that.
That is so cool. I'm just blown away.
Cool, right?
I love it. Yeah. No, and I'm also thinking too, like imagine collaborating with your client to do something like completely custom for that. Yeah. Incredible. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I had Terry Lee, who also was on a panel there. She was on shortly after on the podcast to talk about how she immediately started doing that with her Airbnbs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier episodes. But she like instantly was like, I'm doing this. And she had some really cool, I want to say it's in Colorado, but I'm sure it's probably not. Maybe it was Florida. She's everywhere. But she did like a gaming room, and she brought in like Mario and different superhero, like not cartoons.
Fun.
Yeah, but just different video game characters and put them into artwork that she then put in this video gaming room for this Airbnb. So that was just one little thing that she was talking about, but like the potential is endless, and it's not just vacation homes, it's
Oh, it's
all
any,
homes.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
also thinking about this from, from the brand strategy side. One of the
Mm,
things that we work on with clients, and anybody who has their own business and builds a brand, one of the, first places you start is to identify what makes you different, right? What
mhm.
makes you extraordinary and stand out from
Yeah.
everyone else? And obviously, having the mastery of any kind of AI allows you to communicate that to your client. It gives you an edge in, speed and, innovation in technique. There's lots of ways to bring these skills, right? Not just to, in the behind the scenes, like we were talking about, make your business faster and leaner and more, you know, I don't know, make you more kind of inspired, but it's
Mhm.
also a really solid differentiator that you can use to message your skills and your
Yeah.
uniqueness. And
Yeah.
I am really excited. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
go check out. Tell me the name of the brand that you said.
Um, Terry Lee, is that who you're
No,
talking
no, no.
about?
Well, Terry Lee, definitely. I'll go check out what she's
Okay.
doing. But
Yeah.
you said there was do you have a separate, like a textiles brand or a fabric
I
brand?
do. Yeah.
Okay.
So my other website is 11th and Home, and
11th and
I'm
home.
pretty sure it's like the number 11. I made it a year ago. I kind of like set it and just,
Okay.
it's there. So I'm not maintaining it, but when I create something in my print on demand store, I just push it there automatically.
Got it.
And it can be like artwork, it can be anything. I've got some canvases out here. They're actually like acrylic and they're a matching set. And it's just like some Charleston watercolor inspired artwork that I created
What?
and then like manipulated in Photoshop after. But it goes with all my colors that are in my house. So, I mean, it's so much
Amazing.
fun. It's so much fun. Maybe this is what we should
Excellent.
talk about when I come join you
Totally.
because,
Yeah.
yeah. So, do you want to tell us about that though, about your upcoming event?
Yes. So, marketing school for creatives, going back to that idea of teaching, like I really wanted to create a space for people to learn marketing because, again, I was a creative, I was a designer who was put into a marketing role in my career. And I know that's happening too because I get a lot of calls from people who are working as a marketing manager or even creative directors who are like, I was really, really creative. I can make gorgeous assets, but I don't understand the strategy behind how to make them work better. And I also know there's a lot of solopreneurs and, small firms of designers and architects and, people in our space who are wearing all the hats and they do it because they have to. So marketing school is a platform to help all creatives in all of these roles and to better understand how to leverage and turn their creativity into a strategy. So it's open year round. You can join anytime, marketingschoolforcreatives.com.
Okay.
But each year live, or each year in January, we do like a live event. This year the theme of the event is momentum. It's
Great.
in early January. It's January until February. It's 4 weeks and we're going to be doing workshops with guest instructors, guest experts like you, almost every day, once or maybe even
Wow.
twice a day. You don't have to come,
Wow.
obviously, show up to all of them because everything is
Yeah.
recorded and then kept on the platform, but come and drop in to the ones that are, of interest. And then weekly, I will do office hours and we will really get tactical on how to use marketing in your business for the rest of the year. So I'm super excited about that. People can join now and start to do the kind of curriculum that is on the platform. It's on demand. You can watch it or binge it however you want. I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to make
Yeah.
I don't like the word edutainment, but I really like the idea that education doesn't have to be this stuffy thing. It can be
Yes.
fun.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Love
marketing
that.
school for creatives, and you are
Great.
going to be kicking us off and
Oh, am I
talking
the first?
about
Cool.
yes. Well, I think you are in the second week. So the
Okay.
first week is about narrative, the second week is about visualization, the third
Cool.
week is about taking your story and turning it to a strategy, and the last week is about amplification. So how do you,
Awesome.
use PR and SEO and all the things to kind of get your message out. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Oh, the PR part, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all cool, but like, I'm like, what would help me? And that would probably help
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I will put this in the show notes.
Thank you.
Very much looking forward to doing this with you again, because this is the second time you've had me. So thank you.
I really admire everything you're doing. I think you are like really, really clever and really like what you're doing for interior designers is just really smart.
Thanks.
And I think you really own this space and you're cool. So
Oh, thanks.
that's also.
Well, it makes it easier that I really enjoy it and enjoy the people and really want them to like see, an outcome using AI like I have. I could not have done and built this AI for interior designers over the past year if I did not use AI. Like it literally would not be where it is today if I hadn't done that. So I am also doing a jumpstart into 2025 using AI workshop, and I'm going to showcase like literally my numbers that I used to build over the past year, like where I was, where I started, and how consistency in AI has gotten me there, and then show how to do that. So what better example than myself, right?
You're a trailblazer. Really, truly.
you.
You're kind of laying the path for so many people to come and doing it with so much like, I don't know, authenticity. Like you're really passionate about teaching people how to do this because it will, help make them feel more creative, but also more successful in their business. And I really deeply admire that.
Thank you. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
I hope that it changes the industry as a whole to move forward, because we are a bit archaic in what we do compared to other industries. So helping you all try and elevate your game.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I hear you.
All right.
I'm doing the same.
Yes, you are. And you're doing a great job. So I love seeing everything you do. I will put
Thanks.
all of your links and where to follow you and how to get on that awesome email list and join Marketing School for Creatives. All that will be in the show notes. So is there anything else you want to share with us that's coming up? Ready for the holidays?
We have done this has been a great call and I'm excited. Are you doing,
awesome.
Can I just ask you one quick question before we jump off?
Are
you doing like ChatGPT or AI recipes? How are you? How are you integrating AI into your holiday planning?
Oh, I don't cook.
Okay.
So, not at all.
Got it.
I married, he was a chef when I married him. And so he is a trained professional chef, has gotten out of the kitchen because, it's a lot to be a trained chef, like and work in all of that. But I knew what I was getting into when I married him because I do not cook an ounce. And when I try, I literally cannot follow instructions. So even if I wanted to, I am the worst cook and I cannot follow instructions because of the ADHD. And I'm like off doing something else, literally forget that I'm cooking something and have burned so many meals. So I'm going to stay out of the kitchen. But what I have been using AI for is generative AI because we're hosting. So I have been looking at tablescapes and like trying to get inspiration for floral arrangements and like color palettes and like charger layouts. So that's what I've been using Visual Electric for, but absolutely staying out of the kitchen. Not for me. Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Makes sense.
All right, Ericka, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
All right.
Take care.
We'll catch you next time.
All right.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.